What's up, guys? Belmont here. So, the day is finally upon us. God of War Ragnarok has been released. And I know a lot of you are looking for information about it, but don't want any spoilers whatsoever. So I got you covered. So make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and let's get right to it. We all know God of War 2018 was an absolutely sensational game. It was a smash hit. And Sony wasn't stupid, so they decided to take the smartest and most obvious path possible. They kept everything that worked in the first game and expanded upon it. The game still gravitates heavily around Kratos and Atreus' relationship, but there has been a very nice change because in here, Atreus is a young man, he's no longer just a kid. So this reflects not only in his personality, where he begins talking back to Kratos, but in a very assertive and intelligent way that a lot of times will make the God of War speechless. He has no comebacks, he knows Atreus is right. And of course, this is also reflected in his combat capabilities. Now, he's no longer just a support type of character. He can do, a little bit more damage, and I'm not going to spoil things to you, but you're going to have certain surprises regarding Atreus' combat capabilities. Let's just leave it at that, okay? And still on the subject of Atreus, it's nice to see his growth as a person, as a human being. Because even though he got all that military training straight out of the God of War himself, he still maintained his own personality. He's a lot softer than Kratos. He's still very curious. He's not a nosy, he's not a boring teenager. They managed to do something really interesting here. You know that, yes, he's a young man, but he's not annoying. And the same thing goes for Kratos, man. If in the first game he was all about issuing orders to Atreus to keep him safe because he was still very green. And here we see a Kratos that's trying to adapt to the fact that his son has become a young man, and with that comes freedom. So Atreus is starting to walk with his own legs, and he's starting to make his own choices. Even Mimir, the talking head, which served as a sort of comical relief in the first game, now don't worry, he still cracks his jokes whenever he gets a chance, but he even has a discussion with Kratos about this. He says, look, I know you want to keep your son safe, but he's beginning to make his own choices, so it'd be a very smart idea of you to start listening to your son if you don't want to lose him. And Kratos listens. But at the same time, Kratos has a very strong internal conflict. He knows what is at stake. He understands the powers he will end up facing. And he also, and mainly, knows the consequences of facing and destroying gods. He's been doing that ever since God of War 1. He knows those things can only end one way. And also, at the very beginning of the game, don't worry, I'm gonna keep things spoiler-free, Kratos is gonna witness a certain change in Atreus' power, which can be a little bit dangerous, let's just leave it at that, but that's gonna make Kratos even more worried. And what's really interesting is that we begin seeing Kratos' plans falling apart, because he had this idea of keeping them safe, living an isolated life, and be done with it. However, as God of War Ragnarok's events begin unfolding, he will soon come to realize that that's not a possibility anymore. And he shows this. And I must praise this game's writing, because he does show his concerns, but still as Kratos, the God of War, would. A now father God of War would. He never breaks character once. And if you want to dive deeper into Kratos' conscience, then please make sure to read the Codex after you beat different enemies, because not only will Kratos say things about those enemies, but sometimes he's also going to say things about Atreus, and they are very well placed, and to be honest, they are thoughts that Kratos wouldn't be able to share with anyone, so yes, they are worth reading. Now, speaking about the exploration part of the game, because after all, this was advertised, 9 realms, you're gonna get to see all of them. And yes, that's a fact, you're gonna see all 9 realms, and they're not just, quick strokes, quick checkboxes, hey, you want a realm, something, then, well, it's there, play for 3 minutes and are done with it. No, they're all there, there's a lot of interesting stuff to see, and the writers made sure to create very meaningful and important dialogue in every occasion possible without getting in the way of the game itself. You know, they take very specific opportunities to make the characters begin talking, and I really appreciate this, because now we're gonna get into the combat aspect of the game. After all, this is God of War, not God of Yapping. If God of War 2018 is still fresh in your mind, then you will begin playing very well from the outset. It's been done in a way that's immediately accessible. But hey, the game presents different difficulty settings, so, you know, if you feel things are going too easy, then you can amp up or rev down the difficulty, you know, according to your tastes. But the game makes sure, at least on the medium difficulty setting, to always present you with more challenging situations every now and then. You know, they try to keep things interesting, and for the most part, they do manage to keep it so. And of course, we have the parrying shield now. Yes, Dark Souls players, rejoice. It works exactly the same way. I'm not even gonna go there. But I must say, what I will say about this is that, you know, it gives you, if you've played Dark Souls, if you're good at parry, if you learn these mechanics, it does give you that, you know, trademark smirk of a Dark Souls player. You know, the enemy's coming at full speed at you, he's coming in hot, and then you're like, nope. And of course, the customization system is still here. It's fun, it's entertaining, and it gives you reason. You know, it gives you even more reason to explore this game's world. And we also have the presence of side quests, and I really recommend that you do them, because not only they're very well made, they're beautiful, they're fun, they're entertaining, but also during the side quests, the characters will engage in conversations, and they are important if you want to get to know them better, if you want to see more about all of them, you know, about Kratos, Atreus, Mimir, and whoever may join the fray. And they also made sure, and this is something I will always commend in any game's writing, they made sure to make every single character count, not necessarily in terms of direct importance to the events that are going to unfold, but in terms of having character, of having personalities. They don't derail what has already been done. In my time with God of War 2018 and God of War Ragnarok, I learned to care about those characters. I learned to empathize with them. And that's something that, in my opinion, is becoming rarer and rarer for us to see nowadays. And now, as far as the storytelling goes, you know, I'm gonna say as much as I can without spoiling a single thing for you. What I can say is that there is a very good sense of continuity here. Sony doesn't pull the crazy card and says, whoops, yeah, that, we're gonna pretend that never happened. No, they took this very seriously. And there's everything here. There are epic moments, there are sad moments, there are tragic moments. Look, if you think I'm being vague, it's real, because I want to keep this spoiler-free. I want you to experience this for yourself, because this game deserves it. So, in the end, if you enjoyed God of War 2018, then you can play this game without any worries whatsoever. You're gonna feel right at home, and the game makes sure to honor what happened in the first one. Now, alright, this is as spoiler-free as I can be. Anything beyond this point, I'm gonna begin spoiling things for you, and I really don't want to do this. So if you enjoyed this video, then I have a favor to ask of you. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe so I can keep on growing and bringing even more cool games for you. Alright? So this is Balmo speaking to you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a great time, and I'll see you next round. Later.